computer. Thank you so much for joining us today. And yeah, today is a soft launch day for XReality Academy. And I'm proud to announce this site is officially launched and our entire process. So far, the checking and browse the course, this part is syncing pretty well last time I checked. So that's why we launched. Yeah, I do see this, right? I think there's an intention of close it, but it's not close, obviously. So
yeah,
I do understand. Yeah, so I will report this. And then when you click select, you couldn't click? Okay. You know how raw this is. It's so fresh, you know, it just came out. Okay, if you click this, okay, select. Oh, you go back? No way, what's going on? This is wrong, we've already finished it. I think the current, we have two.
You have two versions going on?
No, we have two developers. The first developer fixed it and the second one is not.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so. Okay. So it's fine, let's log in. Okay, so AR Foundation. Oh. Sorry, I mean, I talked too much and yesterday I was pretty tired. I don't know why it becomes like that though, right?
Once you get it sorted out, do you want to stop the recording and restart it?
Yeah, I mean, I think it should be fine. I mean, this is soft launch and everything is pretty raw.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, okay. So yeah, I do think this shouldn't go to yeah, I don't think this should be this way, but anyway, it's great that we click through. Yeah, so this is the history. We are trying to do like why we are doing AR VR instead of jump into the kind of like doing, right? Doing part. So this is something that we are trying to do. And then I saw there are so many brief or something, and I do trying to maybe make it inside the course instead of jumping out because this is so hard to manage. I mean, I have a team to kind of uploading and trying to figure out the course, but you see, it's not uploading. But we already put a lot of things that's there and teaching how to use persona and why we need persona. So right now it's like a text based instead of you know, trying to create a video. The reason why is because we want to share with you, and text is easier to read, and videos you probably need to watch it, and the production cost is higher and it takes longer, right? So what we are doing is right now we are more like doing this. And we have Unity part, we are trying to incorporate like module, well, testing Unity. Yeah, I mean, yeah, so for example, Unity, this one, and we have, Lucas is the person who kind of teach how to do this. And
so once you
yeah, you can pretty much enlarge it. And what he did was he kind of packaged the entire thing. And I would say that later on, we want to make sure, yeah, so it's only 5 courses to teach you how to create a VR kind of the app at the end. So I can see there are so many things that we still need to adjust, but I do love to kind of like share with you like what's the thought. And Unity workshops is pretty much what we were doing in the past. For example, rotating, all those stuff that we were doing in the past, right? So I kind of organize it. I think Jim probably already know it. Gamification was previously I create courses regarding to gamification like last year, and those are also being included. So what do you think about, we have to take those two out. What do you think about this?
Well,
I
go ahead.
go ahead, Jim.
No, you go, Jacqueline.
I was going to say that although it's more common to have videos, I love reading. That is how I process information better. So it is more expensive production cost wise. It is more expensive to do videos. And although, you may get feedback that you should have videos, there are people who love reading. And I actually often just don't watch the video. I just I just read the transcripts. So they're like, you will hit people, like you will get some amount of people who really appreciate this in the meantime, while you're developing, videos and building that out. I don't think that you would need to just be completely worried that if you don't have videos that people aren't going to be able to do it. Because I mean, if you are a developer of any sort, you are used to reading, you're used to scanning and like looking for the hotkey information that you need. And so I like that. I like that there's no videos. If you have videos in the future, that's fine. But like, I'm happy to see text. Definitely. What are your thoughts, Jim?
I guess I would lean more towards the video. There are some, but I realize it's more work to do, and there are some. I went to a seminar a few weeks ago on a website where you can train the website with your voice. It asks you to say certain things, and from then on, it can take text and play it as your voice. In fact, it will even add inflections and all this stuff automatically. And also you can have a picture yourself and it will animate the picture with the lips moving.
Was this 11 Labs? Was this from 11 Labs?
That does not sound familiar. I have to go back and take a look and see what it was. But so in a pinch, there's that sort of thing that you could use as well. I guess I sort of get into the mode sometimes with this kind of stuff where I'm just ready to sit down and listen and absorb and not have to do any work. So I guess from that standpoint, I like the videos, but I realize it's a lot more work.
I think, ultimately you should have videos because that's just kind of an expectation. When I am doing new courses, if I can't get something from the transcript, like if I'm just struggle busing and I'm like, what's happening? Then sometimes the video will help to clarify things. If I'm actually seeing the person do something, I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. So, going forward, it probably would be a good thing to be working on. But like, again, right now, I think text is fine. It would be cool though, like just like Jim said, to maybe experiment with creating like an AI teacher, see what you can get away with. Because I mean, definitely what is trending right now is like, can I get away with it? Like, what can I get away with? It's not like it has to be perfect. I have to follow suit from what everybody else is doing. It's like, how weird can I animate this image of, what's the dude's name from Harry Potter, Daniel something, Radcliffe or whatever? Like, can I animate him?
Did
you see that?
There's
copyright. I know. You cannot use Daniel Radcliffe, but that there was some viral video that went out that they turned the Harry Potter cast into like high fashion models, and it was just over the top ridiculous. But I mean, that type of content people are interested in looking at. They're interested in watching it. I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be perfect for conveying educational material, but I mean, if it doesn't take too long to try to test it, it may be interesting to see what you could get away with, like with just a picture of you or with a picture of your team, and it reading the screen, like Jim says.
At least you wouldn't have to do retakes.
Yeah.
Mistakes or anything like that.
I keep hearing the name 11 Lamps, but I haven't had a chance because my computer's been down for a couple of days, and we've been moving, but that's on my radar to look at them, because that seems to be sort of a immediate go-to that people are talking about for creating deep fakes. I'm pretty sure that's, let me see if I can find that. I'm on an iPad, so it's a little difficult for me to multitask here.
I have to go back. So what do you think about that, Dom?
Sorry,
Dom,
I
what do you
can-
think about using computer-generated speech and so forth?
Yes, I mean, we were thinking about that. The thing about it is that we need to kind of like create slides and also computer generate speech as well. We do ask some of people, they said that, oh, when I heard of computer, like machine talking, they feel thrown away, even though
They feel what?
they don't like it. They don't like it. I personally think I don't mind to have those kind of computer generate voiceover, because voiceover, it requires some certain skills. And a really good audio
Microphone.
Yeah. You see, I've been super far of my audios because I'm kind of doing some notes, and also I saw the bug and I was filing the bugs to the developer, because we claim that it's soft launch, and if the checkout is not working, then so I can tell you I'm like a multitasking as well. I'm hearing what you say as well.
What you could do is you might try it for one class.
Okay.
And see what people's feedback is on it.
Okay.
Maybe it's for AI. Maybe you have it in the AI voiceover for an AI.
Right.
Have it be like a fully inclusive that shows a use case for what you can do with AI,
Yeah, I do agree that, because a lot of people said that, hey, AI is so hot, right? Let's create an AI course. I was like, I feel like if I keep tracing the train, I don't know. I'm learning Python. To be honest with you, I'm learning Python a few months ago, but now I stopped. Why? I have so many things I have to work on, and definitely we want to have AI. Interesting thing is that it seems like AI and XR, because AI, you see, like it's in need, right? So all the people I saw on Blind, I look at Blind app every day. So I know a lot of people, engineer, they are trying to learn ML or data science or machine learning, to trying to make sure their career is stable. So they are trying to do a lot of bootcamp to make sure they are switched to AI. I find out that the world is switching so fast that I feel like I need to be somehow super smart in order to teach people, because I'm still learning. I'm saying I want to teach, but and I asked a bunch of people, and people are still like me. We were trying to update ourselves. And I know that maybe we can start with the AI, but there are already a lot of cool AI courses out there. It's how AI integrate with the XR. This part is empty, and which is still empty because people are transition. And I know like a AI prompt engineer is, it doesn't require any engineer background, right? You just know how to solve the problem. But this part is highly needed. But everybody is still trying to learn and trying to migrate it. I haven't seen anybody who really can teach. At this moment, it's more like something new. We quickly adapt. And then when we want to create a course, which takes another 6 months to teach, and it's just something, another new thing coming.
Yeah.
So
I mean, and maybe we have to really think about the way that people are learning and what education looks like. I mean, maybe because, as you say, one of the biggest problems with education is that it's always behind, because there's so many moving parts to like get things fully comprehensive so that students can really understand. And that's why boot camps or YouTube videos and tutorials are so popular, because it takes an afternoon to walk through. And I don't know, what that bridge looks like. But maybe there are affiliates that you guys work with where there are specific projects that people, like a prompt engineer would do. They would record their screen and then it would be up on your site, and people could be watching them, and then as like an immediate resource. And then curriculum is developed out of these resource links that are most watched, and maybe that would be a way to figure out what your audience is really looking for. Because if you spend 6 months developing content for prompt engineers, but nobody that is interested in what you're doing wants prompt engineer information, then you have wasted that time.
Well,
and so that may be a bridge.
One thing that I've noticed is, for example, I had subscribed to sort of a seminar series or lecture series, and it was getting to the point where the person who was giving them really didn't know what they were doing anymore. They were getting into areas where they really had no expertise. And so I'm going to cancel my subscription on that, because they just don't know what they're doing. I can go in on YouTube and figure this stuff out faster than I could by watching one of their talks. So I think one guiding principle may be make it related to something that you're an expert in. So like you had the stuff where you were using ChatGPT to generate Unity code. You're an expert in Unity code. So no Joe Blow off the street is going to be able to replicate one of those talks very easily. And so you might want to stick with stuff like that instead of venturing out into stuff where you just aren't any better off in terms of your skills than anyone else, who's spent an hour researching it. So
so that's why I think this is very important for, you see, like we have a soft launch, and you see, like before the checkout process works, right? But few seconds ago it didn't work, and now it works, right? So sometimes when developers are switching stuff, changing the layout, things will not working, but before we thought we check the box, check mark. So I think it's very important for we to jump in, and I do agree with what Jim said, that we should kind of focus on what we are really good at. And
so you could take one of your classes and use the synthetic voice and all that. I can dig up my notes and give you some information on that, but you could try that with one of your classes that you already have designed, and just get people's feedback on it and see what see what you think. Maybe you'll get into the process and you'll say, boy, I really don't like this, and then you won't want to do it anymore.
You know what? When I was in GDC, there was a synthetic voice kind of software, which was doing very cool way of synthesize different game characters' voice. Like you want different ages and, like wizard or some weird thing. And they even have accent, with accent. So this is a very interesting area that we can kind of mimic and have some better. You see, like I mean, I am not born here, and I do understand that
you
people.
could make your accent go away.
Yeah, right. That would be awesome.
You could train one of these bots. It just takes like, I don't know, 30 seconds or a minute to train one with your voice. And you could try very hard to speak without any accent. And your accent could go away for that
This
class.
is amazing. Yeah. I do think that I don't want my, because some people doesn't feel bothered, but some people do feel bothered if, you know, the pronunciation is not going away. And I can tell you, I do hire a mentor to help me remove my accent.
There you
For
go.
example, like hell, right? UCLA, you know, like those like terms touch your mouth. I was trying to learn all the stuff when I focus my energy. My English sounds better, but when I feel tired, like late night, my entire accent was coming out because it's wild. My brain is not controlling my tongue, and it's just going to my back of my accent.
So you could focus for just 30 seconds or a minute on speaking with no accent.
Oh, that's great. That's
and have
great.
a great picture of yourself. You know, come up with a great picture of yourself. And where, you know, you're not wearing the headset or anything like that. And then you could use that picture, and you could use that voice that you're generating to do one of the talks, and then see how it works out.
Yeah, I do really appreciate the thing. So do you have the link for the kind of?
I have to dig it up. I have to dig up my notes from that.
So is this one the right one, or I have to type something and it will read? This one?
This is
That's just one that I've heard a lot of people using for creating deep fakes, and from what I haven't tried it yet, but from everywhere that or from all the people who I have seen using it, they just say it's very user friendly. But I'm sure there's a variety of ones to choose from.
Plus, you need something that animates your character. So you have basically a photograph of yourself. So it's an avatar that looks totally like you. It's totally photorealistic. It's just, you know, it wiggles the lips, and I think it moves the head around a little bit up and down, and
I see. Oh yeah, I feel like there are so many things. Let me try it. That's you. I am in the forest. Okay.
I'm a wizard in the forest.
I am a wizard in the forest. I am a wizard in the forest.
I think it's not too bad, right?
But they can have it train on your voice, right?
And can they?
Yeah.
Okay, so how can I do that? Stories.
Maybe you have to establish an account first.
Oh, I see. So I do really think those are pretty good. New articles, storytelling, audiobooks, uncanny quality. Yeah, I really love those things. You create AI toolkit, clone voice from a sample or from your own voice. Ooh. Yeah, I need to do this, but I do definitely well.
I am a wizard in the forest.
Okay, I understand. You're the wizard. Yeah, I will definitely dive into those. Thank you so much for writing all those. I think we just have to finalize it. I know that I can tell you one of my super awesome curriculum designers, she told me that she was overwhelmed. She needs some time rest or something.
I'm overwhelmed just trying to figure out all the things that I need to figure out.
Yeah, me too. I feel like it just finish this course, it takes so much effort, time, energy. And I know there are so many things that we can do it better. So I do think that we can definitely add videos. And last meeting, Jacqueline and I, we were talking about, like, I think Jacqueline did talk something so high level about what designer really needs. And I even asked her permission if I can make it. I don't know. What I'm thinking is maybe we can make a trailer and put Jacqueline's, talk like, oh, you know, designer transfer from 2D to 3D, I was thinking about, wow, this part, maybe we can cut some of the stuff like, oh yeah, XReality Academy is trying to tailor, you know, the designer, and we are teaching or like teaching problem solving instead of, because I think you see, Jacqueline, I did the notes when you talk. For the difference between school and bootcamp is that school is teaching people from fundamental, comprehensive knowledge, while bootcamp is teaching you how to do things, right? Have the why in mind is more school, like critical thinking, design thinking, but having the do things, like let's do it, right? That's more bootcamp thinking. We kind of want to have both because we do really want people to get portfolio out of this. But I think keep in mind of how we have something like more why thinking. So yeah, definitely keep in mind. And I can tell you, I want to kind of send the, you know, the course to some of people that in the XR industry, maybe my coworkers in the past, right? And let them see how they feel about the research part. I mean, we are working hard on this, but you know, without people actually using it, we want more feedback for us to be better. Yeah, so that's for sure. Marcelo, right? Hello. Marcelo, would you like to introduce yourself? I mean, thank you for joining our soft launch. Okay, so yeah, never mind. For your, oh, what if, okay, well, let me see. This one, oh, something like this, right?
So this went viral a couple of weeks ago, but this is an example of, like, they took a photo and then the heads move slightly, they move their mouths, and you can have it in any accent you want. But it's so dramatic and ridiculous, like such a ridiculous and dramatic project that went viral. But I do know that this person used 11 Labs to create the that audio. So, and this is just an example of kind of what Jim was talking about, although you wouldn't want to do something quite so like haute couture and ridiculous as Harry Potter and them being in like a fashion show, like a fashion show reality clip.
Get sued for that, so stay away from the expensive characters.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do see that maybe, I mean, it's just a thinking. Maybe we can create a character and I don't know, Dr. X or Dr. XR, I don't know, whatever the name is, and we create some characters and that doctor will teach. I don't know. It's just some thoughts. But yeah, but we definitely want to try like some interesting combination just to make sure that yeah, we can achieve our goal. You see, we have a lot of core thinkings, core functions, job board, right? Calendar, everything is under construction. Just to launch this, it's it takes a long time just to figure this out. Yeah, but I'm happy to announce. Yeah, and if you have any feedback, for example, like when our team, we were trying to prepare the AR foundation, I do find out that when I receive project, I know how to respond, how to do things, how to just, there's an answer and kind of implement it. But the thing about me is that I don't really know how to break it down into pieces to teach people. So if you look at this, I kind of want, if you have time, you can just look at all those and see what's missing. see what, because when I see this, I like our team feels like, wow, this is so UX UI, and they want to see more UX UI related to XR. And maybe we can create another course, like everyday practice. I think one thing about improving XR skills is to download a lot of things and just browsing, just use it and come up with some notes, what's good about this, and kind of learning it. So you have a good library inside your brain. And every time when something comes similar, you kind of react to that.
Do you have any of, I mean, because the way that you learned, or the way that you learn VR, you know, the way that you were talking about, that you just get into these games and you figure out what's good and you figure out what's not good. Do you have links for students to be able to like quickly download games that work, and you know, that you could jump in and then have a for feedback? Because I know that one of the things that has been a point of frustration for me is that, you know, as I'm downloading the apps that are focused on VR, a lot of them are broken, and it's super frustrating, you know.
What?
So you can hit the easy button and you have links to, hey, assess this particular app, and you know, and you would already know that they're free, so you also wouldn't have to worry about that, or any VR projects that you know that are free, easily accessible, and still working. That would be really helpful to people.
I totally agree with what you said, because okay, so what I can do is, actually I have a document to put all my notes. And the interesting thing about VR is that last year, the reason why the link got broken is because a lot of games are no longer continue. Why? Because I think last year was XR's bubble on the summit. I remember when I was at AWE last year, I told people that I do metaverse building. And people said that if you say you are a metaverse builder or, you know, designer, product, whatever, you know, related to that, it's so rare and highly in demand. It's so different from this year. This year is dry out. Last year was pretty much, I turned down a lot of people's project. And no matter how high they pay me, I just say, sorry, I don't have time. But this year was so dry. It's like totally different things. So that's why if you find out this year or something, you find out the link were broken, it's probably because, for example, Echo VR. Yeah, that one was stopped or discontinued by Meta or Facebook. It was, because why? Because no budget, no team to maintain that. That's why.
Versus Echo 3D.
And actually,
that was my fault for like, oh, they closed your
no. Echo 3D and Echo VR are different. Echo VR is a game. It's a game that I think Echo VR, I put that game inside my document. That document before, I remember 2 years ago, I started creating that document. The reason why is because, I mean, I can access to a lot of VR games almost free, right? Back in the time when I was in Meta. And I kind of want to just do my personal research because I was working on that VR thing. So it starts with my personal notes. It's like, oh, you know, I want to, you know, when I jump into the metaverse project, I want to kind of come up with something that without, you know, spending too much time to research, I want to have a document. I have that. The interesting thing is that all the games, they keep updating. And I don't know that my notes, whether they are updating or not. And now I left Meta, so all the access was gone. I have to pay, you know, $50 to get that. So which is, I mean, I can totally, you know, put some suggestions. But if you dive in, you didn't see that UI or that game was discontinued, I couldn't promise. It was created 2 years ago and intended to be published. The thing about people are talking about why there are not many people like to do a lot of XR tutorials. Why? Because every time when you publish something, when you record something, it will become outdated next day, and which is so hard to maintain.
Everything's
Yes.
And so going back for just a second to what Jim was saying and what we were talking about earlier, the idea of a library, like a access to a library of curated content of people who are working through things, like how do you stay current and relevant, but also not dump a bunch of time and money into something that's not super relevant. Like, I don't know if you could do something where I know I worked for a company where they had a custom library that only the users who paid for a library access had access to. And so even though you could find similar content on YouTube, the this particular content was specifically created or curated to meet a specific need, and it was from a bunch of people who were trustworthy. And so maybe that's something that you could be thinking about in terms of like, even if somebody is not like at an expert level to be able to create content for, you know, whatever that is, at least you would be able to have videos saying, okay, you know, this is what I've been working on. Like, let's say you had made a video 2 years ago and you had access to all of that stuff. Well, okay, like, you know that it's outdated, or, you know, fast forward to whatever the topic is right now, like, you know that it's outdated, but you're still learning relevant things. Like, you're still full information to be able to build a foundation, you know. And
right.
so
even though it is outdated,
like,
still worth to mention.
Right, even though it's outdated, right, it's worth mentioning because that shows like the history and how things are built and how things are connected with one another. So it's worth getting it out there, and it's worth having. So I don't know. I mean, it maybe would cut down on production costs if it doesn't need to be like this beautifully perfect video, but it's just, you know, whomever you have on your development team is working through these problems on YouTube, then we are able to also follow along, figure things out, and then, you know, we are seeing the progression of wherever the industry goes as people continue to release content that's exclusive only to your library.
Well, here's an interesting idea. What if, you know, there are some things that are changing so rapidly.
Yeah, right.
Maybe for something like that, if you've got a course in something like that, maybe that's the course that you target for the synthetic voice and avatar, so that you can very easily change it and update it without having to do a whole lot of work. You may have,
you just change the content it reads.
Yeah, you may have, let's say, a series of slides, for example, that you do in Keynote or whatnot, and maybe you have the avatar with a synthetic voice, and you have a separate little segment for each one of those slides, and then you can go in and you can add slides and so forth without making hardly any changes at all. Without hardly expending any time at all on your end to update it.
Yeah, I
Then you
totally
just record the result and put it out as the latest version.
Yeah, I do agree with what you say. Yeah, and I do think what Jacqueline said is helping me with perfectionist and the imposter syndrome. The reason why we didn't do all those like, best practice thing is because I know that when I publish it, something will change really fast. So when people go back to reference, they couldn't even find the bad one. Because, for example, like I was consulting with some companies and I was pointed out all those things and I put on my notes. But later on, when I went to their app, they switched everything to the good one. And you couldn't even find the bad one anymore. Yeah, so that's how fast the industry is. And long time ago, I used Walmart's website as, if you want to see the website, something, on the not so good design part, like 2 years ago, I used Toyota, right? And Tesla to do the comparison because their branding were all red. And Tesla's website, I was comparing with the low price, high price, like high end thing, how you can make things look expensive. And now Toyota is improving their side. So I feel like they're slightly different, but not that drastic difference. So I can totally do the principal things. For example, like how to make things look good and expensive in a design way or in VR way, but all the reference I put or something, maybe make it more generic instead of a specific brand, right? Because for example, if you jump into Toyota's site, I was like, oh God, all the site is getting improved. And how can I give my student bad experience, but bad examples, right? So probably screenshot something really bad and kind of mention like the date, right? Because they might upgrade very soon. So I do agree with doing that.
And like the thing to always keep in mind is like you are training people right now today. And so you are helping some group of people, let's say 10 people, let's say 50 people, 100 people, 1,000 people, whatever. Those people are going to be trained. There's people are going to collect information, and then, you were helping them to like get to whatever this next step is. So we just, even though people like nobody really knows what they're doing, I said this to somebody. I said, it was somebody who was the developer of just yet another one of those, like, let's build a world and it's a social world and come here and there's furniture that you can lay out. And I said, I'm not necessarily interested in this app that you're making because I am not going to use it. I am not going to sit in this space with my friends and watch a show. Thank you so much. But you are really good at Unity, and I would love to just watch you work in Unity. Like I would love, and that's what Twitch is, right? Like you are giving people an opportunity to see people using whatever it is that is like immediately happening right now, so that as designers, we have like insight into how things are made to then be able to get to the next step, So like, even if it gets outdated, you're still helping an immediate group of people. You'll continue to put fresh content out, and that will help those people, and then you'll continue to put content out, and that will help those people. And so I hope that you hear that I don't think that anybody in this industry is expecting perfection. We just need to be sharing what we know, because it would be impossible for everybody to be experts in everything, because it's happening too fast. It's like you feel like you're drowning trying to learn everything. But if a bunch of us get together and we're like, hey, I'm working through 11 labs this week, like I'll screen share and I'll throw it up and I'll put it on there, and if people want to watch it, great, whatever, then you have this library of people who are specifically working on a specific thing, and then other people may want to pay to watch what they're doing. I mean, I don't know, Jim, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think it goes along with the idea of things rapidly changing and having some way to change the content quickly and update it quickly. And I
feel like as long as people are just like, there should be some combination of like, this is beautiful, well thought out, well designed course curriculum, but then there could be like a supplemental library of just YouTube videos that are exclusive to you and to your content, that don't necessarily have to be perfectly worked out. And then that just gives people more of a reason to continue to come back, because it's like crack content. Like this is, we're releasing videos of people working through projects fairly regularly. You can come back, and then that would also give you the data of this video, this project has been viewed 1,000 times, 10,000 times. Clearly people are interested in this, and then maybe you dig deeply into that and do a course.
Well, you
and that could be,
I think one of the things you're talking about is doing things in small segments. And
yes.
so you could create small segments, and you could do that. It's, you know, it's similar to a lot of stuff that's going on YouTube right now. People have a lot of short videos on various things.
Yeah, I agree. And I think the thing that we want to kind of focus is that, you know, we want to provide something, kind of provide some questions, some problems, or some thoughts. And then later on, if you have any questions, you book mentors and you discuss with your mentor. I think that's why school cannot be replaced, or somehow there are some traditional things that, or human cannot be replaced by machine or automation. I think one of it is education, because, for example, you can buy textbook, right? Few $100s, buy textbook, buy Harvard's, you know, law school, medical school textbook. You can get the syllabus by books. But when you study on your own versus you get a real course, it will be different, even though you got all the materials you have to learn. But I think the discussion, or somebody validate your thoughts, or somebody in the industry give you some guidance, I think that might really helpful. So I think for us, I think, you know, later on, I might come up with a course, which probably, I mean, I really love the Saturday talk, right? And before I was kind of wanted to turn the kind of morning news. I mean, you guys, if you want to share with news, that's great. But what I want to share is more like, I download this app and I play it. I probably will share some videos that walk through, and I can tell you what's the experience looks like, what's good about this experience, what's bad about this experience. It's kind of more like I think the best way to learn experience design is to expose yourself into either good design or bad design. And you know what's good, what's bad. And inside your library, you start accumulate a lot. For example, when we first learn UX design, a lot of people said that you need to follow a lot of blogs, right? Listening to podcasts, do something, expose us to inside this environment. Like a little baby, maybe a little baby couldn't speak a language or English at the beginning, but you expose a baby into an environment that everyone is talking about it, or the baby is trying to figure things out, right? And later on, the baby has a really good vocabulary and he can start talk. I think this is kind of the same thing. We need to create the vocabularies, or create a good amount of kind of library for the designer to, when they see something, they know what's something and they come up with a solution according to their previous playing experience. Yeah, maybe I can doing that. I don't know. Yeah, my thoughts. I can start sharing some apps, some good, bad thing that I saw. Yeah.
I like that idea.
Yeah, maybe that one can also be a course, right? Like best practice. And I kind of just, you know, every week I start with a little bit things. Maybe I record a video, and that video part can be inside the, you know, the XR, one of the course, maybe finding the best practice or creating your own XR library, something like that. And like I remember there's something called design challenge, right? Everyday design challenge for UX, everyday UX design challenge. There's a website which has 100 challenges for UX designer. And then what I can do is probably I can create that, right? every day you start, learning and creating something, and you post on your social media and share with people. I don't know. It's just my thoughts. Something. Yeah.
Could be a lot of work. I know you used to do the news every day, right?
We right?
You used to do the news every day, right?
Yes. Oh, that one was kind of intense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it takes an hour just to prepare, right? And I think for the app thing, it will have more time and more money cost just to buy the app. Yeah. But I think it worth it. It's just to increase your knowledge, right? And also learning all the deep principles. I do like to share more like something that is unchanging. I know technology is changing so fast. For example, I saw the blender, right? And I can tell you there's another story about my student. There's an app called Galileo.ai. Have you ever heard of that? Galileo. Galileo AI design. Yeah. If you see this, I don't know whether I share this or not. You type, right? And it will generate a Figma app for you.
Mhm.
An app, and you can edit in Figma. And I have students who start getting depressed. They spend so much money to a boot camp. And right now, people just type something and an app just show up, right? And they start feeling that what's the point of doing everything right now? Yeah, so what I think is that if we focus on teaching the do, right? How to do this, how to do that, even animation. At GDC, I saw a lot of studios. They create AI generative animation, which in the past, you need somebody who is so top tier animator to do full-time jobs for probably a few months, cost at least 30K, 40K. Now with as cheap as $8,000, you can have the same effect, even though it's still unbelievable expensive, but it's much cheaper. So pretty much they kind of mapping the real persons, because for AAA games, you need some animation that works very naturally. For that app, is that somebody just do the things or something, and they can use generative AI to remap the entire things according to the actor. And then that thing, well, you can make some default animation, and you can just sync. And at the end, that entire human will be generated. So there's no need of top tier animator. But it does require, if there is some errors, does require top tier animators to do. But before, he can get 6 months of the job, but now probably just 1 week just to twist. So
great.
I can see all the white column or top tier workers, their job require or time is reducing. So I saw a news that UK seems like to have their workday reduced to 3. Right now we have 5 work days, right? They want to, since we don't really need to work that much, we want to reduce to 3. But it also means that we need to upgrade ourselves so we can, make a best judgment of using those AI tools. Anyway, so I have some course ideas. Thank you so much. Any thoughts? I don't know, like any thoughts for our first soft launch?
Well, I think these ideas you're talking about using apps for various stuff related to your field of expertise, I think that's a good idea. Because and that's one of these things where it's continuing education, where everybody's just trying to keep up. And
right.
so you could help with that using that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I probably will create like a everyday XR challenge, and I will create a list, right? And I will be the first person to kind of execute it. For example, like find an AR app that like find an AR furniture app and talk about it. Talk what's good, what's bad about it. That will be the first assignment, right? And everybody and hashtag XReality Academy, right? And we will go there and share on our social media. I don't know, like whoever talk good or something. And yeah, maybe do some challenge like that.
I guess one question is, how much do you throw out there on YouTube for free? And how much do you hold back for?
Yeah, right. I think everything right now except the Unity workshop. Unity workshop, I do cut a little bit. So I only share some of them. This one I share whole. Some of them I only share a few of it. Now I think I would like to have like a 15 or 10, or I don't know, like a small cut of trailer. And later on, I will kind of marketing back to, oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Yeah, I will cut as a trailer and then put inside the, inside the hub. Yeah. Yeah, I do agree that I put too many things free out there. Now I will start.
Well, I don't know. I think it gives you good exposure.
Yeah, I mean, you see, we have how many? I mean, yeah, I mean, it's not a bad number. And some of them even hit a pretty good exposure, like 3K, 30K, something like that. A few hundred. Yeah. 1K, 11K. Yeah. So it's kind of good and bad. It's like I think we create a pretty good community. And then now, and I truly like, the reason why I create this is because I really want to kind of like use an affordable price, right? For people to kind of get access to something that is inspiring, helping people to solve the problem and use another way of doing XR. So that's the original purpose. And I still do like to share something freely on YouTube. And possibly maybe some of them I will put on the hub, some of them I still share, so we can still keep the exposure. But yeah, but I do think that we can think a way. But I think creating like the best practice for kind of like a XR, right? And keep every day update. I think those really helps for people to have a fresh mindset and have their own judgment instead of we tell them what's right, what's wrong. Because I feel like the education which tells you that this is the right thing to do, I always feel like, is that right? I don't know. Why you tell me to do this? I'm suspicious of your intention.
But I think as far as the stuff that you put on YouTube, you could start doing more of what would be considered teasers on YouTube.
Yeah, teasers. Yes.
And then you're not spending a whole lot of time just on YouTube content. And, maybe if you've got the right titles and so forth, they get mixed in or connected to other YouTube videos that are popular. And then you'll get a lot of exposure that way. And people will see the teaser and say, this is interesting. Maybe I should sign up for this or a free trial or something like that.
Yeah, I probably will create something like a XR daily challenge, something like that, or XR weekly challenge, something like that.
Yeah.
And then create some topics and for people to start challenging themselves. Because I think by those exercises, it's better than just spend a lot of money just to learn one course and follow step by step. I think creating something that you it's more like absorbing. It's not, it's like you learn a new language, you learn Russian. It's not you go on in a course and trying to learn the alphabets and do something within 3 months. And you think you can speak really good Russian. It's probably not like that, but to more like everyday absorbing things. And this couldn't be too fast because XR involves so many fields, but you can improve and make yourself better day by day. Yeah.
Mhm.
Cool. Yeah. Thank you so much. And if you kind of have any feedback, feel free to just to share with me, and love to hear what you say. We are eager, thirsty for feedback. Yeah.
Okay, how many classes do you have up right now that are?
3 AR foundation. Those testing one, just for developers, they are trying to make sure they are not messing up those 3, so they create something. But AR foundation, Unity workshops, and gamification. So those 3, and those 2, yeah. So that's why we are not fully promoting our soft launch.
But these
We are
are
slowly
3
promoting.
individual classes, 3 individual classes?
Yeah, right. 3 individual. Yeah.
What about all the classes that you had earlier?
All the classes, yeah, all the classes that we had was in the pipeline of creating.
Of what? You're bringing them in?
Yeah, it's pretty much, we are, like, for example, the capstone one, right? Like problem solving, more like those capstone one, the different industry problems, right? Those we are still working on.
Yeah.
We want to, this one, after this one finish, remember I have like a ChatGPT VR that kids in hospital, that one will be VR one.
Yeah,
But
okay.
the reason why we create this one so thoroughly with all the research on the background, right? We have all the design thinking, all those research math on the background. So for the VR one, we want to refer, if people forget, right? We want to refer people back to that. So it's a bundle, start with AR.
Mhm.
Yeah, so. And later on will be MR. And the interesting thing is MR start mingle with AR, right? Now people don't really say mixed reality, they say AR glass. And actually the new AR glass is the mixed reality. So it's it's interesting. This industry is changing so fast. And now you see AI in combine, right?
Yeah.
It feels like we are trying to chess. No matter how fast we run, we still couldn't run faster than the plugins. There are so many new plugins comes out. We do whatever we can and trying to keep everything update. And I can tell you, it's pretty much very light for us. Yeah, we all our designers are kind of 20 something, right? So we are pretty much up to date, and we are really flexible. So this is why we kind of wanna kind of keep this kind of, I would say we are kind of disruptors for this XR online education, right? Because you see a lot of bootcamp, they are really, really high end. We try to make it more, teach you something, teach you ways, teach you how to rethink things, and we will bring inspiring people to you. So, you can kind of focusing on problem solving and the relationship between you and the mentors.
Amazon's CEO gave an interview a couple days ago or so on CNBC, and he said that they're about to introduce on AWS the ability to generate code using AI in different languages.
So what was the really point of creating a boot camp and just dive into doing? We want to do something that is more thinking.
Yeah, so that may be a major thing in all of this is the code generation using AI. I think there are things lacking right now. Everybody's focused on ChatGPT, but I think it's only part of the solution. It's it's a similar thing. You know, I have some experience with self-driving vehicles. And, you know, when you sit behind the steering wheel of your car, you bring a lot more to the act of driving a car than any of these systems do. And likewise, Chat GPT is it doesn't have the common sense behind it to know what's real and what's a hallucination. And so I think that's a major thing that's missing from that. So I think these tools that we've got right now are only partial tools, and they're missing huge chunks. And those chunks will be filled in as time goes on. But I think one of the things that we're going to see in the interim is we're going to see a lot of stuff focusing on generating code using AI to speed up the development process. And so you've already done some of that. And I'm sure that as time goes on, you're going to be trying that out. You're going to be trying various things out. And so that may be a major, something of major importance for you, because a lot of people are going to be interested in that and are going to want to try to keep up to date. A lot of programmers are going to want to try to keep up to date. Just like that person you said, who you know, who said, you know, I spent a lot of time learning how to create these apps, and now there's a website that does it for you.
Yeah, I can tell you that app really frustrated all my students. I feel happy. Why? Because I mean, I treat myself as more like trying to create a system or trying to find something that helps people. For example, when I create platform, right? Sarah founder. When I create a platform, if there's something that can automate, generate, then that would be great. But for people who actually was doing the building things, their job will be taken away, like coders. And I saw one news that I was feel a little, I don't know, different. I know the world will be different. Is that it seems like a lot of firms are outsourcing the coding stuff to the third world. Or, you know, hacking stuff. I know this is not the new thing. Yeah, this is not the new thing, but look at right now the trend, AI and third world. And how about people in America? We charge a lot, right? Like design, all those stuff. The difference between us and the people in other country is that we know the market here. So I start feeling that actually designers kind of get advantages because we know people's behavior, we know the culture in America, right? And in other countries, they know the execution, right? But they really don't know the original, how to place those, how to do things. So I do think that the original things, that core things that machine couldn't replace, that thing probably we need to cherish that. Yeah. But I mean, yeah, this is a lot of things to discuss, but I do highly think that I probably will start creating a course, which is XR weekly challenge. And I will put a lot of lists out there, maybe something, and then put a course. And there's no right answer. I probably will put, you know, my way of introducing it. And I will try to create it every week, right? And then when, for example, we have weekly news and you guys can talk about news, instead, I probably will share with you what I see and probably a partial things that I find or something. And then, I don't know, yeah, and maybe XR weekly news, if you guys are interested, maybe we can make it a challenge that every week, I don't know, find something or find some innovation out of a product, something, I don't know, if you're interested. But I think news already pretty inspiring because I think, yeah, I think just by hosting all the events, I learned a lot. Yeah. Cool. Thank you so much, though. Any stuff you want to mention?
Oh, I was just curious. I know you posted, I think last week, one of the news segments from several weeks ago. And when I looked at it, in when you expand where it says show more for the YouTube video, it had a bunch of stuff about a license for music.
Oh,
Did you run into an issue with music licensing for one of our news events?
hey,
You know what
give
I'm
me a
talking
second.
about?
Which one? I'm so sorry.
Okay, let
I
me,
didn't.
I'll have to bring it.
Yeah. Can you share with me? Because I might accidentally, sometimes we share and there might be some music background and it might hit something. I
Yeah,
don't know.
that's what happened. Let's
Yeah,
see.
yeah, okay.
Let me find it.
Hopefully we are not getting sued or something.
Yeah.
Is that very serious? I don't know.
I think you're okay. Whatever happened, I think you're okay.
Okay. Because I know that if I hit something too serious, I couldn't even publish. So it's
Yeah.
probably moderate something
Hang on.
that the artists need to get credit. But in the future, if there's like, if all the music, the majority of music are generated by
Yeah,
AI. Okay. Yeah, share.
Okay, let's see.
You can share, right?
Yeah, hang on. Okay, I'll show you what I'm talking about.
Okay.
All right, where's my? Okay, are you seeing the picture with the woman
Yes.
at the top? Okay, so this is let me reload this just so you see what
More AI. I know. I probably feel too tired of figuring out the title.
So it's that one with the picture of all the black women. Okay, let me start out. Wait a second. It keeps turning on. Okay, so if I say show more, it has all this thing about music and licenses.
Oh,
I know it took you a while to post this, maybe a week or two,
yeah.
or you posted it. Did you run into some issue with the music?
No, I think, it's probably there's somebody who, in YouTube, when I post videos, if something that is restricted, because one time I post like a Jimmy Fallon's, like some shows talking about, I don't know, something that related to XR something. I think it's the AR thing, right? Remember, there's like an AR. You kind of say something. Oh, who are you? Da 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 da, and you click, and it shows like, oh, you are a Little Mermaid, something like that. That one time it was really popular, and I kind of talk about that show and show that, and I got restricted.
Oh,
I
really?
couldn't even publish. Yeah, that video I couldn't publish. And one time I kind of put somebody like really famous. I think it's someone kind of Taylor Swift, those types of popular singer. I accidentally there's some songs inside that. Probably Ariana Grande. And then in Decentraland, she has a concert or something, and I was playing one of the video.
Yeah.
And when I submit and it didn't pass through,
Oh,
it
really?
means that I couldn't even click the button to publish. So if you see this credential, probably it's okay, but you need to mention the artist. So
Yeah,
that's why YouTube kind of automatically place that to ensure that this artist's credit got placed.
So maybe
it should be good.
Maybe you submitted this to be published on YouTube right away, but then it took YouTube a couple of weeks before they processed it and approved it. Yeah,
I think so. Yeah, I think sometimes I publish it, right? And then and we all show somebody's website, and sometimes we show somebody's videos. And there's always something that we don't really even notice that's licensed, that's not. So I think sometimes we will hit something.
I see.
But if it is too serious, then I couldn't even click that button. If this is processed and being published, probably you see like at Sketchfab. Yeah. There are something that, for example, like, oh, you can download it, but you need to put artist name under it. And there's something that, oh, you couldn't even download, you couldn't even put, and they will restrict it. So you know exactly what to do. And I think YouTube has a good censorship for something. And for example, I want to publish something, especially in America, because the copyright issue is I think it's very strict.
Yeah.
So I cannot publish in America, but I probably can publish in some countries. Yeah, so that's kind of the thing. So I always publish the location is always around California. So if I can hit that button, I think this music is just the moderator one, the media.
So you had never seen this before, the stuff that I just showed you about this music. You never even noticed that before.
I don't even know the Studio Coloma. This is today you show me that I started realize that, oh, the artist is who. I didn't even notice that music.
Okay,
What's the music sounds like? Can we hit that? I want to hear.
It's probably, I think it's probably
sure.
something that you were talking about. Let's see. Some experiments that I've been doing. Let's see if I can.
Oh, so you probably put the
So can you see, we're gonna get confused here. A collage of images. I can't get this thing to stop.
interesting. It's interesting to hear our own voice.
I
Right?
know, I hate it. I hate it.
I hate it. Me too. So that's why, like XReality Academy, I feel like, oh, if it is all my voice, I feel tired.
This is something that you did.
Oh, the housing thing.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to be able to find this. The music must have been something that you were doing because I don't.
Oh, it's me. Okay. I mean, I couldn't. Yeah, every time when I do something, I forget what I was doing.
I don't know that I'd be able to find it. Let's see if I can see anything here. Something about the Wall Street Journal. You got to try to pay it off afterwards. We get these little snippets. I have no idea what that was about. I got to be careful because whatever slowed things down.
Probably this one. Probably this
slow
one.
down this one. So maybe I shouldn't do this.
I think probably this one, right? This one, I really like this board game. This board game is so cool.
I'm not going to play it because I'm afraid that we'll slow down this
Yeah.
from being published. So I'm going to stop sharing here.
Yeah.
We have to be careful about this stuff.
Yeah. So yeah, I totally think that yeah, there are a lot of interesting issues because of the AI thing, and yeah, we just keep working on it, and feel free to try the course, and yeah, I love to hear your feedback, and I will share with more people. And then yeah, let's keep I mean, I will still put you know, the LinkedIn posts about our soft launch just to have some small awareness, but it's more like a close friend or, you know, for the soft launch, and just give feedback. So we can improve when the day we actual launch. We want to launch the actual launch at AWE on May 31st.
Okay.
Such a weird time to launch. May 31st, supposed to be June 1st, right?
So you're going to be physically there?
Yeah, I will physically there. Will you?
No, I'm not. I'm not doing stuff right now.
I see.
This is a long story, but you can watch that online. I know it's pretty expensive to attend, but I think at least afterwards you can watch everything online just about.
Oh, I mean, yeah, I think I think all the in-person event is for networking. The content itself, I would say the reason why they can launch for free is because everything will be outdated pretty soon. So why not just for marketing purpose?
Yeah.
They just release. So the entire thing, for example, like I can tell you, actually, I have three full access for AWE, 3 free passes.
Oh, really?
But the name is all me. I couldn't, you know, I was like, yeah, because I before I kind of have volunteered, right? So I got 1 free pass and 1 t-shirt. And I got a table, so I got another one all access just for that table. But that's me, right? And then, yeah, maybe I can take the volunteer and, get another person to get access, but I don't know. Yeah, we can think about that. And I got another email, which AWE thanks for me to contribute the speaker, become the speaker last year. So got another pass. So I got 3 free passes, but it's all under my name. So
So somebody would have to change their name to yours or something like that. Or
yeah, if you want to change it to my name, you can take 3 of them, right? I don't know. I feel like a lot of pressure. I can tell you that for tech worker this year is a tough year.
yeah.
You see all the layoff, right? And I understand that Meta will have another round next week. And I know how they feel because I had the same feeling last year. And I always think that tech people is smart, and before it had a lot of really bright future, right? For example, if you are an engineer, you definitely guarantee to get like millions worth. Like the lifestyle is really high end, right? Okay. And in Bay Area. But now I saw a lot of things that they are trying to kind of reduce the engineer, right? For example, the generate code.
Yeah.
I started thinking about what can we do, or what human need to be involved in order to get the next comfort zone. I know there's no comfort zone, but at least something that can keep us at least can pay all the bills, right? Doesn't have to worry.
I think whenever there's a disruptive change in technology, it does reduce some jobs, but I think it creates as well. And so you just have to figure out what it's creating, what opportunities it's creating for you. And I think you're perfectly positioned for that with the XReality Academy, because, there are a lot of people that are trying to get information on these things so that they can keep themselves up to date and take advantage of the new opportunities that are being created. So you can be sort of at the center of that.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Now, the people who you run into, I know you go to networking events and so forth. Are they starting to find any jobs, or is it just getting worse, or what?
Oh, you want to hear about GDC? Did I talk about GDC's situation about jobs?
You mentioned something briefly.
Oh, briefly. Okay. Yeah. Probably because during that time I was sick. So I was trying to say very fast just to reduce the talk. Okay. I can tell you that the job marketing was not good. Very bad. For example, like in GDC, there are kind of 3 different types of things going on. One is the big exports, right? That people from all the different countries, continent, they have their own booths in different areas, right? That's one thing. And another thing is speed dating for job search. I went to one of the speed dating for 1 hour. It's pretty much all the students from different cities, all the game design students, and they are so talented. 1-person studios. You know how good it is because of all the AI generated. Right. AI is not the first day to be so big. Last year is already, everyone knows how to use it.
Right.
So it ends up to be every student's portfolio looks like a studio.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Like they are just 19 years old, or, like just so young, high school, right? Like high school, college student, they dress up, they bring the physical and the computer portfolio, right? And for, mobile, play their trailer. It's like a very good size of a small independent developer, designer. People in game, it's like they can do coding, they can do 3D modeling, they can have stories, they can come up with music. Everybody's portfolio is that solid.
They grew up with all this. They were doing this in high school.
Yeah, right. So I can tell you, this is amazing. It's like I treat myself as, I can either kind of give awareness of XReality Academy, or I can recruit mentor. But I find I couldn't do both too, because students, they don't have money to do bootcamp, and they don't have time. They want to land on jobs as soon as possible, right? And all those I'm doing, it's like, oh, I mean, I need a job, right? So that's why, and they've been in school, so another bootcamp, they feel like they'd rather get a real job experience, and if they need it, they will go to bootcamp. So I feel like this bootcamp, so that's why I just joined one session, and which is, my friend told me to sit on the stable side because the other part will keep moving. So I just lazily, sit on the chair. Every 5 minutes, there will be another person sit on my chair, rotating, kind of rotating the table. Yeah, I saw a lot of students, amazing. 3D model, perfect. Coding, perfect. Game, everything works well. Stories are unique. And they are all looking for jobs. And I remember the girl with me, she is kind of college, and she got a master's degree in somewhere in San Francisco. She told me that she will stay there for the entire 5 days and to get a job. And I was like, I'm not tied to anything, right? I like to see what's in Expo, and I want to see some speaker events. So I'm kind of like here and there. And the speed dating is very scary, which is like I can see hundreds of students line up, bring their portfolio, dress up, ready to find a work, right? And then I heard that usually the entire speed dating job looking is only students. So students are presenting to students itself. And there's one time there were 2 recruiters from the expos, like people like, oh, I want to look for maybe some people, right? But unfortunately, they didn't hire anybody out there.
Yeah.
And you see the entire room, and it's just rotating. And I told that girl, like, maybe you don't need to go there, right? Because it's all student. You guys just presenting to yourself.
And the few recruiters who are there,
only 2.
Are part
out
of
of 500.
Yeah, they're all part of this category where they're not really offering jobs. They're just collecting names in case they want to hire somebody later on.
Yeah. And you see that, I heard that AI or automation really changes the structure of the industry. For example, like before, a company need to hire like 5 interns, 5 junior, and 3 senior, let's say engineer or designer, whatever structure it is. But now AI pretty much take over all the mediocre jobs.
Yeah.
It's not like the advanced, but mediocre, right? So let's say intern. I don't need intern. Why intern? It's just wasting my time, and I have someone to manage it, to train it. So they take out intern. So you see all the internship programs are gone. Meta or something. People are less need intern, because before intern, we're like, oh, I have some small things that I don't want my senior or junior to waste time on this, more labor things, right? Repetitive things.
Right.
Now intern's job got eliminated. So kids out of school, they don't have anywhere to be trained.
Right.
And you see junior are getting eliminated or getting reduced. Why? Because senior with the pair of AI, you see senior knows exactly what to do. So for example, like I have a session with my Unity mentor. He just, the way he asks ChatGPT is different than I ask ChatGPT.
Right.
I can come up with some, I don't want to say mediocre, but it's kind of like that. It's like something that I create and I have to fix it, right?
Yeah.
But he already can build the really high level of the game or something, right?
Right.
Know exactly what to ask, and ChatGPT create the simple, very simple, a lot of like inventory system for him. So later on, he can, for example, 5 seconds. And 5 seconds, he said that it usually take him probably 3 days just to build those things, right? Because we have like a pseudocode, right? So ChatGPT pretty much, when you code, you do pseudocode. You just write what you want and you will code for you.
Yeah.
So, and all the engineer at the beginning will do the pseudocode for the entire structure.
Right,
So
right.
he just put pseudocode and it becomes a real code. And usually it will outsource to intern, junior, right? And me junior or something, me senior. But now it's all in 5 seconds. Those two will be replaced. And since, for example, 3 seniors, 2 of them's jobs were training, helping, managing the junior and intern. But now it's gone, mentoring, right? So in a company, I only need 1 senior. I don't need the rest of the team.
I think another thing that's going on is, well, if you look at this from the venture capital side, because of the failure of Silicon Valley Bank, there's been less venture capital available. Plus, they were loaning to pre-IPO companies. And the IPOs are basically drying up. So the companies that had those pre-IPO loans, they're in trouble. Because unless you continue to move through the stages to get to the IPO and so forth, then you start running out of funds. And I think they're running into that. And then on top of that, there may be some other failures due to corporate real estate, because there's a lot of corporate real estate out there where the companies are not going to be able to make their payments. We're going to default on the corporate real estate. And that could cause that could trigger another series of failures right there. And so I think what we're seeing is from the funding side, from the venture capital funding side, there may be a lot of things that have been going on recently and that will continue to go on that are going to make that dry up. So I think there's going to have to be more of an emphasis on, instead of getting seed money and venture capital, you're going to have to bootstrap your way along.
I think so. My advisor, because before I was kind of like seeking for funding, but my advisor just said that investors, it's like when you don't need money, bank will like to lend you money. When you need money, bank won't lend you money. You know what I'm saying? It's very similar to fundraising right now. If you are really good at your startup, you don't need money, you have a lot of income, all the venture capitals want you. But if you need money, everybody just run away. You know what I'm saying? So.
I think, well, I have CNBC sort of going on in the background during the day while I'm working. And so I absorb sort of by osmosis a lot of the financial news. And I think that if you've got something that involves AI, you're getting the funding for that. Funding for that is not drying up, but everything else has pretty much been drying up. So I think if you have this stuff about generating code using AI, in Unity or generating apps or user interface designs or whatever, I think that kind of stuff is still getting funding, but everything else is sort of drying up.
Yeah, I see.
I'm more of a bootstrap type of person anyways. And
me too.
So I go to the seminars about venture capital and I think to myself, there's a lot of unpalatable things for me here. And I'm not quite as interested in that sort of thing. But that is all geared towards IPOs, and there just aren't any IPOs going on. So that's going to change the whole face of venture capital.
Yeah, and I do believe there's still, I think people spend money very conservatively nowadays.
Yes.
Just because of the interest is so high, right? So save on the bank is much better than spend it out. So so people trying to, people behave differently. So I do agree that XReality Academy needs to have its own income in order for us to survive. And once we survive, I believe it's just like a bank. When you don't need money, bank want to lend you money. So yeah, we have to have good numbers.
I
which
don't
is-
think any of these developers should be buying this car behind me, which is a Ferrari.
Oh, really? It looks
yeah.
like a beautiful butterfly.
Save money, don't buy Ferraris and all that stuff, because you may need that money later.
Yeah, and I saw a lot of blind post, blind app. You know blind app, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw a lot of people. They kind of buy a very buy expensive house, like few million dollars house around Bay Area, and now because of layoff, they couldn't even pay off a lot of things because you know how expensive the mortgage is.
Right.
So
Oh, I think there's another thing that's interesting in all this as well, and that is we're seeing all these companies cut back, laying people off. And, you know, we know that what's happening in some of these companies is that they're saying, okay, we're going to lay off a bunch of people in this area. We want the existing people, the remaining people, to just work 3 times harder.
yeah.
I don't think that's going to work. And so there's all these layoffs and all this company stock pricing going up because of
I know what
But I
company
think-
you are talking about.
yeah. But I think reality is going to hit, and they're going to find out, well, wait a second, we can't really do the things that we wanted to do anymore, because it turns out our employees can't work 3 or 4 times harder after all.
But the company will cut off the bonus, cut off the salary, and start from full-timer to contractor. And the contracting before the length was 1 or 2 years, now become 3 months, 6 months. Yeah. So that's what I noticed. And also, you know, when they hire, they are not looking for building a career for employees. For example, I saw a lot of employees, they are complaining that, hey, when before I know I can climb up to the corporate ladders, right? For example, start from IC to manager to the director. But now you see they are reducing the managers and force director manager to go back to IC and cut the pay, right? And I saw a lot of posts that they couldn't see they can move up anymore. They cut all the ladders, right?
Right.
So
the middle managers, they're not essential. You know,
I would say middle manager is that, for example, when we feel stressed out, when we want to communicate, and a lot of IC, we couldn't talk. It's not we couldn't talk, we just, and especially in big company, for example, everybody think I'm somebody, right?
Right.
So it's so hard for people to talk to each other and trying to still maintain a good harmony. So middle manager is a good thing. Like I can tell you all the middle manager that I know in my previous company, they are all super nice people.
Yeah.
This is why they are in the middle management. They are people. So they are charismatic.
Yeah.
People love to talk to them. And if, for example, if I have any questions or I want to have my, I have some career thoughts, I want to do more like this, less like that, right? Because we all have some preference that I want to do this, I don't want to do that, right? You feel comfortable to talk to them instead of, somebody else, right?
But they're not getting the work done though.
Yeah, but they are the people. So I feel like, and for example, like when in the past there were big layoff or something, and they are the person who are willing to talk to you instead of people who actually do this thing, right? Because you kind of want to tell somebody, ask somebody instead of directly to ask somebody, which what if you say something wrong, right? Something like that.
Immediate manager, yeah.
Yeah, so that middle manager is kind of like a lot of people's go-to person, and they are usually charismatic.
Yeah. Well, I think there's going to be a little bit of a rebound that the companies don't realize is going to happen, because after doing all these cutbacks, I think they're going to realize, oh, we can't get the things done that we had planned to get done because we just cut everything to the bone. And so I think they're going to realize that they need to hire some people back or whatever, or new people or whatever, just to get some things done that all of a sudden they can't do anymore because they just don't have the people to do it.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think today, thank you so much. I got a lot of good feedback, which I mean, I think Jacqueline mentioned a lot of really good stuff, and I kind of asked her permission to put her, you know, in individual talk about what designer needs, what school needs in AWE and our trailer. And also I learned a lot from you, how to, put AI thing inside, and also maybe start to thinking about making some teasers about the course, and maybe use some AI voice, right, to create some course videos, right? So yeah,
Maybe particularly, in fact, if you do that and you choose a course that needs to be updated frequently, you may say, because we're updating this course so frequently, we're using an AI generated voice and avatar just so that we can keep up with everything so rapidly instead of having to spend a lot of time redoing real video and things like that.
Yeah. Okay. Got it.
Because that way the student would understand why you're doing this. And
yeah, this is interesting. And I can tell you that I still need to, while I'm doing all those fun stuff, I still need to watch out my cash flow, right?
Yeah.
So
definitely.
we do really need cash, because I think our team and me, we all love working on this, and we want to make it as good as possible. But yeah, I feel like it's kind of like running. I remember Elon Musk said that, imagine you are running out of cash, but you just have to keep run so fast. And you know that if you run so fast, after 3 months, there will be a bag of cash coming through. And you just need to run so fast in order to catch that bag of cash. So that's what I'm thinking. It's like, I know on the back end, everything was, the cash running so fast, and I have to run so fast and make sure this can launch and everything fits everyone's expectation, right, as soon as possible. So that's why I think the feedback is so important. And I would kind of trying to get as many feedbacks as possible to ensure that what we launch is something that not really everyone wants, but the people that we care or we target really wants. Yeah.
I think, I wrote that long thing in Slack about suggestions that I had. And the whole orientation of that was, how do you get money in quickly? Because
we have like a 7 days free trial, if you see it. Yeah. And you need to put your credit card in order to create a course.
Good. And that makes it so much easier to, at the end of the trial, sign up. I just ran into a thing recently where they had a 7-day trial, and fortunately they took the credit card at the beginning, and I didn't have to go chase them around after the trial and all that. It made it more convenient.
I do think, thank you so much. And we definitely will do a lot of kind of changes. Maybe, first thing is adding videos, right? Adding some videos for a course, because some people likes it, some people don't like it, but at least people don't like it doesn't have to watch. And we can add another course, right? Add another course, which is like a XR challenge. And then maybe make a teaser, right? Teaser.
Make sure you choose it's important how you choose the titles. It's like when we had the news segment that was called More AI. Probably not a lot of people are going to be interested in that.
You know what? Sometimes I just feel so tired, and
I know,
during the time is just, Oh God.
Just call this more AI. But
AI and more AI and more
yeah,
AI.
yeah.
But the next one.
So it's important how you, if you're gonna have teasers, you have to choose good titles.
Yes, I think people really react to titles. This is a very good session, and yeah, just give us as many feedback as what you think and how we can do better. Just feel free to give us everything.
Good
what you
luck.
think.
Good luck
Oh.
with everything.
Thank you so much, and thank you for your time, for always, joining us. And I learned a lot from you and Jacqueline and Kyle. I don't know why Kyle is not showing up, but
Got a new job. He's busy with his new job.
I see. Yeah, it's fine. Don't worry. I mean, I feel like it's like I remember one of my friend, James Ashley. He told me that he's kind of a really high level XR expert. He told me that he thinks that what I impressed him is that he had a lot of friends who did a lot of podcasts, but probably after 10 episodes they closed it. They couldn't keep going. But you see, our stuff has since 2019, right?
Let's have a couple hundred or something.
I think like 500, at least a lot of 100 videos that I delete a lot.
Yeah.
Because before I had such a heavy accent and I couldn't even hear what I was talking about, so I delete all those. But I delete at least half of them. Right now, the one that's showing up is the one that I think I barely can hear my voice. But I think we just keep doing it, no matter it's good time or bad time. And then, and we will evolve. And you see, sometimes there's nobody joining us, nobody hearing what we are talking about. We just keep talking, right?
Yeah.
But I think this is kind of the spirit that we just keep doing it. Yeah, I think he said that. He didn't say that, what we are doing good or bad, but he said that it's very impressive that we're still doing.
I remember when you were doing the news every day, I had joined the group. One of my friends was in your group, and oftentimes I'll look at people's list of groups that they're in and see if there's anything interesting. And so I had joined based on this friend, and I saw that you were doing the news every day, and I thought, oh my goodness, I would never be able to keep up with that. But I think part of what that does is it helps you sort of get your finger on the pulse of the industry.
Yeah.
So it became easier for you to get work because you were up to date on what was going on.
Yeah, the interesting thing about me is that I think because of the news, right? I feel like Saturday news really helps me to understand what's going on in the world. And I can tell you that every day in the morning, I'm listening to WSJ. I think WSJ is kind of the source that is very, very top and true source.
They're very conservative, but yeah, they're one of those voices.
Yeah, like very conservative voices. Yeah, so I listen to that, and also The Economist. I think those two are really conservative, but it's kind of good source. And then so I just feel that it inspires me and also help me with my consulting business, because the reason why people need somebody is because of they want the information being organized, being delivered in a very short amount of ways, and which somebody can just give me an answer and what's going on and whether this works or not. They just want a really quick solution. And I think just by understanding what's going on in the industry and what's good ad, what's the good experience, staying on the current, on the train, I think this really helps me to have every time when I join a client's meeting or something, I can kind of help them to solve or understand things, or at least I know there are some possibilities to solve this, or technology can solve this problem. So yeah. Cool. Yeah. Thank you so much for your time. And yeah, enjoy the rest of your weekend, and feel free to, jump into the course and give us as many feedback as possible.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. See you later. Bye.
Bye-bye.